New question, the member from Niagara West-Glanbrook.
Thank you, Speaker. Question to the Premier. Premier, your outdated tax and spend policies have brought Ontario to have-not status and chased some 300,000 well-paying manufacturing jobs from our province. According to the Ontario Real Estate Association, your mandatory energy audit, Premier, will have serious implications for small business in the province of Ontario. In fact, OREA says, I quote, energy audits and corresponding retrofits will hurt the competitiveness of Ontario business at a time when they can least afford it. Premier, this act will increase energy rates and it will cause problems for small business with the mandatory audits. Isn't this just kicking small business when they're already facing a downturn?
Here, Speaker, the Minister of Energy and Infrastructure.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I want to say to the honourable member, I'd be very happy, as I said to the critic from that party on matters of energy, to discuss any items in the proposed Green Energy Act that they might have suggestion for amendment. But I want to make it very clear, Mr. Speaker, that the mandatory home energy audits would apply only to single-family residences, and therefore small businesses would not be implicated by any such audit. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you to the Speaker on his job-killing policies. Premier, not only are they facing new energy audits, but small businesses in the agriculture and landscaping industries say your pesticide ban is going to kill jobs this summer. Landscape Ontario says more than 20,000 lawn care jobs are in jeopardy, and lack of a phase-in will have serious economic consequences. The Ontario Federation of Agriculture says 40,000 farming families and sale of their products will suffer from an already unwarranted negative impact brought about by this bill. Premier, why are you pushing forward these unwarranted, job-killing regulations during this unprecedented economic crisis?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. At the beginning of the honourable member's supplementary, he repeated what he had suggested in his earlier question, even though, Mr. Speaker, in a very, very clear way, I indicated to the honourable member that the information that he was presenting was not consistent with the plan, Mr. Speaker. And accordingly, I would like to reiterate to the honourable member that energy audits are for homes and not for small businesses, Mr. Speaker. And more to the point, they are actually an opportunity to enhance the understanding of the circumstances related to energy use in the home. We think also that on the idea, Mr. Speaker, of retrofit, there are examples for people with support from the government to be investing in bringing their homes forward to a lower overall energy use, which actually can impact their operational costs. So we do see advantages associated with it. It would be very, very welcome to sit down with the honourable member and to brief him on those things or discuss other matters related to this bill with the critic of that party. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Final supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker. I think the minister knows that those are the quotes from the Ontario Real Estate Association. So we're jamming up under Dalton McGuinty the real estate market. Your pesticides bill coming down this summer is going to chase out 20,000 lawn care jobs and impact on small businesses and agriculture. Now, the Association of Canadian Search, Employment and Staffing Services, AXIS, said about your temp agency bill 139, quote, some of the new rules will significantly damage an industry employing 300,000 people a year in the province of Ontario. They add the new legislation will create unfair and more onerous employer obligations for staffing services industry employers in Ontario compared to any other industry or geographic sector in North America. Premier, you're attacking small business with higher energy rates. You're attacking small business with new pesticide regulations. Isn't it time to give small businesses a break in Ontario so they can create some private sector jobs again?
Minister of Labour, Mr. Speaker.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And what I say to the opposite member, Mr. Speaker, is that this government wants to ensure that we protect our most vulnerable workers. And, Mr. Speaker, I say to that member, you should speak to the member from Sarnia from your party, because here's what he had to say. He said, in general, we're very supportive of the government's efforts to offer protection to workers in temporary agencies. I would have to wonder why the government would announce changes to the regulations today, December 9th, that don't come into effect until January 2nd of 2009. Actually, that member wanted us to move even quicker, I say to the member. But here's what we are doing, Mr. Speaker. We're making sure that these vulnerable workers are not treated unfairly, that they're not prevented from accessing permanent jobs. We think this is good for our economy, Mr. Speaker. 11% of the workforce today works in temp work. We want
the Leader of the Third Party.